One of the most essential features of Composer is the ability to auto-load files. In the last lecture, we saw that we're not able to use the route dispatcher clause because we did not set up auto-loading. And I don't want to actually use the required statement because if we use that, it's going to be very, very tedious when our project gets big. So we need a way to be able to auto-load our classes and our functions so that we don't need to write lots of required statements. So that is what we are going to be doing in this lecture. We are going to leverage the auto-loading feature of Composer to make things very easy for us. So the first thing is to go over to our text editor again and open composer.json. Right now we just have one key here, which is require. This key allows us to specify the dependency, which are all the things that we've installed since for our project. We want to add a new one. So we'll put a comma here and say autoload column and then open and close an object. Right, so we're getting an error here because we need to use double quotes. And I usually like to put this on the top, so I'm just going to do that. Then remove this comma. So there are different auto-loading methods for Composer, but we are going to be using the PSR4 standard. So we're going to say PSR-4 column and then open another object. So inside of here, we are going to specify the namespace that we want to auto-load. So for our project, we have this app folder, which is going to contain all of the logic that we need. Our classes are actually going to be under the app folder. So if you come back here, controllers, index, you see here, I'm using apps. All right, so I'm going to make this as the base namespace. So come back to composer.json and then say apps and then escape that. Come outside of here and put a column and then specify the folder name that Composer should look inside. So I'm saying look for this namespace inside of this folder app, right? So we have the app folder here. So Composer is going to look for this namespace inside of this app folder and then auto load all of the classes that we have created inside of here. The next one that I want to specify is for files. Remember that we have function and then we have epa.php. I also want to be able to load this file for any request that is being called so that I can use my view or any other function that I declare here globally without requiring it explicitly. So we'll come back here and say files, put a column, and then for this we need to pass in an array. And then we are going to specify the path to the file that we want to auto load. So this will be app slash should be functions slash epa.php. Okay, so with this we'll be able to auto load all of the classes and then this specific file for our project. So one more thing that I like to do is to actually specify one more option here to get an optimized autoloader class. This is usually of no benefit when you are on development environment, but I usually like to do it. So I'm going to say optimize dash autoloader, and then I'm going to set this to true. So what this do is whenever I run composer dump autoload, which is a command in Composer that is used to regenerate the autoload file, it is going to generate an optimized version for me automatically. So if I install a new project with Composer and then Composer does an implicit dump of the autoload file, it is going to generate an optimized version for me. All right, so now we need to go over to the terminal and do composer dump auto load. So this is the command to actually recreate the composer autoload file. Now it is generating optimized autoload file. Let's try to do a refresh on the browser. If everything works fine, we should be able to see our index page. All right, so everything working fine. We can see inside home page from controller class. All right, so let's now try to view a page that doesn't exist. Let's just say pages. Okay, so we get uncaught invalid argument, view, errors, .404 not found. Okay, so we have actually not created this. So what we want to do now is create this. Okay, so we'll come over to route dispatcher, start from here, and then this should be errors /404, okay? And then we'll come inside of views, we're going to create a new folder, call this errors. And then we are going to create a new file inside of errors. We're going to call this 404.blade.php. So remember, we are using Blade templating engine. So I'm going to click on this and just put a test here, page not found. Okay, so let's wrap this in H1. Now let's try to reload the page, see if everything works fine. We get page not found. If we go back again to index, we get inside home page from controller class. So everything is working as expected. That will be all for this lesson.